So Super Smash Bros. Is a popular series. Trust me, I know, I'm not completely delusional. But it seems to me like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate should be wrapping up at this point. And guess what? It definitely isn't. We just finished, yes, just finished, the first Fighters Pass DLC. And Nintendo's gonna be doing another one, and this one's even bigger. This game came out over a year ago at this point, and it started being heavily promoted almost 2 years ago, and Nintendo is just starting a new line of DLC that could be coming until potentially December of 2021. Now again, I know this is a huge series, but really, how much of this do we need? How long should something like this reasonably be supported? Is this a good thing for fans? Hello all 2,240 of you, I'm Redkwan, and can we give Smash a break? So first of all, what's the big problem here, Red Boy? First of all, that is not even close to Quan. I have no idea how you confused those. But to answer your question, this comes down to, like usual, a matter of where to put your resources. Nintendo can put all these people to work continuing to support Smash Ultimate for 3 years after the game came out, or they could have them do something else. These teams could be working on other games instead, and maybe that'd be a better use of their time. So a good follow-up question might be, is working on other games a better use of their time? And the answer to that is a little more complicated. From a money standpoint, probably not. There are tons of huge fans of the Super Smash Bros. Series, and especially on a console as popular as the Switch, the DLC will make loads of money. And to add on to that, I think a lot of people feel the need to stay up to date with all the characters, and are probably going to get all the DLC packs because they feel like they have to have the full experience. Not that that doesn't happen with other games with DLC, but I feel like it's an especially big factor here. So for Nintendo, this is probably the right move. But what about the fans? I think for the fans, it's definitely more of a mixed bag. Like I said, I know Super Smash Bros. Is huge, and a lot of people are legitimately very excited to see the new fighters whenever they're announced. A lot of people are still playing Smash Ultimate constantly, and I'm sure people will still be playing it in late 2021. Oh my gosh. 2021. But that being said, there are also a lot of people who aren't that into it. A lot of people, probably the majority of Nintendo fans, will play Super Smash Bros. And enjoy it for a little while, but after that little bit, they'll move on to other games. For most people, it's just something fun to pull out when you want to play something with other people, but not a game you'd buy an entire console for. Obviously, there are the super fans, and to be fair, that's a very sizable group, but the group that doesn't care as much is very big too. It seemed like in the past, Nintendo tried to please both groups, giving Super Smash Bros. Its time, but not dwelling on it too long after its release, and the fans would carry it on from there. But now that Nintendo can make boatloads of cash off selling DLC for it, they've definitely gone all the way in on the huge fan side, which is great for the huge fans, but not so great for everybody else. If you somehow haven't caught on to my pretty obvious bias, I'm definitely more in the it's a fun game camp than the it's the game camp. And honestly, if you're in that camp, this situation is kinda pretty lame. And you might say that, you're not really losing anything. But that's not really true, person with a terrible excuse for a New York accent. You know what I'm losing? I'm losing the games that these people could be working on instead of Smash Ultimate DLC. I'm losing room in Nintendo's release schedule because we can just fill it in with the announcement of yet another Fire Emblem character or that Terry guy from whatever he's from. I don't care about Terry. And I'm losing my sanity because we haven't gotten a true non-game specific direct since September 4th, and I just know that when we do, they're gonna say, but wait, here's one more thing, and they're gonna start this cool trailer, and I'm gonna be thinking, what could this be? This looks pretty cool. And then Score Bunny is gonna pop onto the screen and start punching stinking Terry. Fine, you can talk about your game for a while. I'll give you that first DLC pass. I'll give you that first year. That's fair. Take your time. It's an important game. But December of 2021? That's almost January of 2022. That's 3 years of support. 3 years, and don't get me wrong, I don't question this decision from a business standpoint, and like I said, I'm sure some people are absolutely eating it up, but I mean, come on, that's 3 years of directs where I just know half of it is going to be devoted to Super Smash Bros. 3 years where Nintendo's too busy making Terry instead of Pikmin 4. I know the people who are making Terry aren't going to be making Pikmin 4, but I mean they could, in theory. Oh wow, I'm sorry you had to see that. Well, where does this leave us? Is 3 years of support for Super Smash Bros. Kind of ridiculous? Yeah, maybe it is. But it is the best decision for Nintendo from a business perspective, and there are plenty of Smash Bros. Faithful who I'm sure are all for this, so it doesn't really matter. But for everyone else, this is kind of a bummer. After a year or two, most Nintendo fans probably don't care too much about what happens to Smash, It's a fun game to pull out every once in a while, but it's nothing they really have that much investment in. And while the characters do each have their own moves, once you've reached a certain point, getting a character you probably don't care about from a game you probably don't care about isn't really that significant. And when it feels like that's all Nintendo wants to show you, it can be kind of annoying. And I think this leads into the final topic. Maybe this is actually bad for Nintendo and the Smash fans in the long run. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to have almost 100 characters. Now Nintendo set the expectation for the series that they're going to start with over 50 characters and add plenty more after release. And because each game has had significantly bigger rosters than the last, they might be setting themselves up for a 100 character next entry. And that's bad for two reasons. One, it's a whole lot more work, and you'd either have to throw way more time at it, which is bad, or you'll have to base it heavily off a previous game, which seems fine to me, but would probably be very disappointing to others who've already played the old game to death. And two, it's bad because Nintendo is quickly running out of characters worth adding. Sure, Nintendo has almost endless characters to choose from, but there are hardly any characters which people would actually be excited about anymore. And once you use those up, which they will, and fairly quickly at this rate, one of the huge draws of the series won't really even be a factor anymore. Nintendo, as well as the fans of the series, probably shouldn't want the vast majority of wanted characters to be used up to preserve the future of the series, but that might be what's coming. Supporting Super Smash Bros. For 3 years may seem fine now, and Sakurai probably would have done it anyway, but I think in the long run, it's probably not the best for Nintendo or the huge fans of the Smash series, and also, it's definitely worth noting that I'm also just kinda done with it at this point, which is a big factor for all of us, of course. Well, I'm Redkwan. Do you think it's time Nintendo gave Smash a break? Do you think my writing is slowly growing less coherent as I descend into madness? Is it Dotson or Dashhound? I don't know. Are they the same dog? I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say about this, because I feel like this isn't that unpopular of an opinion, but maybe it is, because I don't know what I'm talking about, and also we haven't gotten a Direct in a while, like I said, so this isn't exactly on the top of everyone's minds probably, so maybe nobody even cares right now. Also, legitimately, if anyone has an answer to that dog question, I would like to know, and also, because you telling me is easier than looking it up, and I'm lazy. Anyways, I'm Redkwan, thank you all for watching, and I'll hopefully see you all later. Goodbye.